Hello, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the Messy Sweet Spot. We wanted to talk. Can you guys hear me better now? Sorry about that, you guys. Hey, so I started off and I didn't even have the mic in my hand, but today we're going to be talking about Malcolm, and I wanted to give you guys some updates on Malcolm. There's some new things that have came out that I was taken back by, and also some new news that happened with Diddy. You guys know, it seems like the elites are definitely leaving Diddy out to dry. And Dawn has taken out a few companies out of her lawsuit. And a lot of people saw this as a win for Diddy, but it's really not. It's not at all because she is still coming for Diddy. And it's still three companies that's included in her lawsuit. And it just lets you know that the companies are getting out the way so everybody can take down Diddy. Diddy will be the fall guy. So people are celebrating. They're like, oh my goodness, Diddy's going to get free. This is a win for Diddy. No, it's not a win for Diddy. It's just the elites getting out the way because the elites are tied to these companies because that's how they make money. They're getting out the way so she can't touch the corporations. So it's just only Diddy to go down. All right. So, how are you guys doing? Hey, Lisa Wilson. That's my sister, you guys. When I tell you, Lisa Wilson, she's like my best supporter ever. Like all the channels that I have, how long I've been up here, she has always stayed loyal. She has always been my ride or die. I appreciate Lisa Wilson. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Hey, Just the T, please. How are you, baby? Glad that you all are here. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I love you too. I really do. Okay. So are you guys ready to get started? And I want to let you guys know this as well. I have the link at the top so you guys can come up here and pretty much talk to me. Talk to me about the case. I want to know your thoughts, how you feel about it. If you agree to disagree, I welcome anybody to come up here and to talk to me about it. Okay. Yes, Jessica, I'm glad that you found me, baby. I am here. So I want to get into thank you, Georgina. Thank you so much, Regina. I really appreciate it. All right. And you guys, please let's get the likes up. You guys know I appreciate the likes. The likes help us all in the algorithm to keep us pushed out here because it is a fight. I mean, what we're witnessing right now, dealing with this Malcolm, it's a fight. It's the machine versus us. When it comes to Diddy, it's a fight. It's the machine versus us. So we need as much help as possible. And you guys can help by liking, commenting, sharing, and just being engaged. So I'm going to go here and let's start the new news. So I was over there at a paperwork party. Shout out to him. And he brought up this new point of view. Now, if you guys don't know what happened with Malcolm, press 1 so I can probably go back over the story because I'm just assuming that you guys know exactly what happened with Malcolm. But if you don't know what happened with Malcolm, press 1 and I will just go over it for you. But the new news is this. He states that they kept on saying that Malcolm was swimming with a friend. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. But he states that that is not Malcolm's friend. Malcolm don't know those people over there in Costa Rica. And the friend is actually Tanisha, his alleged wife. And if you know, like I know, it's been a lot of suspicious stories about his wife. A lot of people felt and believe that his wife is a sleeper cell or his wife is a plant. If you don't know what that is, that's when the industry plants someone in your life And most likely they do it by, relationship or marriage or friend, or sometimes they can flip your family members to be a sleeper cell or a plant to betray you when the time is right. You would never know until the higher ups send an activation, to activate. So a lot of people felt like she was a plant or a sleeper cell in his orbit. And you may say, well, why? Why Malcolm? Well, they are saying it's plenty of reasons that Malcolm, he was a part of old Hollywood. And if you know, like I know with old Hollywood, back in those days, it's a lot of secrets. And they kept their secret secret. However, in 2025, a lot of people are exposing old Hollywood secrets. A lot of people are doing podcasts, and these podcasts, it frightens old Hollywood because back in those days, old Hollywood, nobody just get on random podcasts and just open their mouth and just tell the business of the past just for attention or to tell stories. Back in those days when we're talking about radio or TV show, it was always owned by big corporations. And that's control, that's power. When you have a big corporation and they run a story, I can big elite people can easily get that pulled off, and I'm sure those elite companies would not put out certain interviews, or they would not push out certain radio interviews if they know it would piss off the big man. So they never had to worry about those type of stories. And back in the old Hollywood, blackball was very real, and you never heard about it. Like once you get blackballed back in old Hollywood, like who you're going to run to? You don't have social media to run to because social media doesn't exist. Nobody's going to take your interview. So you're just going to be out, and it's just going to be their word versus yours. However, now we have social media. Anybody has a platform, anybody has a microphone. And whatever is said, if it's like just a crazy story, it's going to go viral. And that viral sensation is hurting big corporations, is hurting reputation. So they are saying that Malcolm, he knew a lot of information. He has witnessed a lot of things in Hollywood that he has kept quiet. But they got nervous because recently, if you guys know, that he was doing a podcast, and his podcast was making a lot of noise, and he was on a mission. He wanted to open his people eyes because his story was the people in the elite, they were pushing black men to do the most coonery thing for entertainment. And he wanted to tell his story how they tried to push him to do certain things that was against his morals and values, and he stood his ground. But he said it was a fight, and he was going to continue to talk. I have heard whispers, I cannot confirm this, but I have heard whispers that something nefarious happened to Malcolm when he was a child in Hollywood, and he was ready to break his silence. Because we look at Malcolm and he's a great guy. He's well rounded. He's very respectful. He has a clean track record. And it's like, how did you survive Hollywood? Like we see the kids from Hollywood, and they're all have horrible situations. And it's like, Malcolm, how did you survive? So he was going to tell his story, how he survived. And he was going to break silence on how the industry does black men in this industry. So they didn't want that. I also heard that they tried to make a deal with him behind the scenes. They were like, listen, they got word that he was ready to be so truthful and be honest. And they were like, listen, we want you to work for us. Like, we will give you a certain pay, but we want you to be our mule, you know? And that mule, that came from Salome Bella. You guys know she, I guess, sees the future like Raven Simone. I'm not sure, but a lot of people find her to be credible. Some people don't. But but that's something to consider at least, that the industry wanted Malcolm to be a mule. And you be like, okay, is this something to do with drugs? No, it has nothing to do with drugs. It's just that they wanted him to be a voice for Hollywood, you know? So, because if they give him an assignment to be the voice for Hollywood, to be a spokesperson for Hollywood, then it will he wouldn't be coming out here dissing Hollywood because he'd be working for Hollywood. So they were trying to, do something like that, right? And they said that Malcolm, one thing you can say about him, he is his own man. He does not he doesn't bend the knee for money. He doesn't bend the knee because he's scared. They said he's fearless and he's not going to sell out his soul for any money. So he told them no. He's not going to do that. He has his own thing. He wanted to be independent. He wanted to do his podcast and he wanted to talk to his people. He wanted to speak truth to power. And people are saying, you guys know that's one thing they fear. They fear a Black man that's not afraid of the industry, that is going to expose their secrets and expose the things that happen with old Hollywood. And, if they cannot control you, then they're going to try to silence you, you know? So that is why there were target him, because of the things that he knows. And I guess when it comes to like street things, or like, okay, say for instance, you guys know in the street, like if you witness a crime and the criminals know that you know of their crime, it could be a possibility that they could try to come after you and try to take you out just based on what you know. You didn't have to do anything. It's just, a crime that they did that could cause them to get some time. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be accountable. And a lot of Hollywood individuals, old Hollywood, they have that. And let's not forget, he was also tied with Bill Cosby. And my goodness, they say Bill Cosby, he has a lot of things going on with him. And if you guys know, Malcolm, he was not going to degrade Bill Cosby. You know, he I don't want to say he stood up for him, but he definitely was not going to trash him, and he did not. So it's so many angles, it's so many things that's going on. So it's like, wow. It's really wow. It's taken back, it's freaky, it's frightening to realize that these people in power will actually hire plants and sleeper cells in your marriages, in your family. I mean, Malcolm, he's not the only one. I'm sure you guys heard of Twitch. I've heard rumors that Twitch wife was a plant. I heard rumors that she was a sleeper cell. So it happens. It happens in the rap industry and many places, So we just have to consider that. And the new news that came out now was Tanisha, which is his wife. And people find it so strange because she's so like mysterious, like no photos, no videos. And this is for it's like, who is she? And what's interesting is like she wanted to be a star at one point. Like she was a style star, she was a Hollywood star, and she marries a big celebrity. Malcolm, everybody knows that face. So it's just a lot of things make you question. But the new angle is that on the beach, Tanisha left her friend with Malcolm, And when she came back, he was gone. Some people are saying she never left. She never left and went to go get any fruit. That was a lie. I've also heard tales that Tanisha friend that went surfing with him that morning, and they were saying the beach. Did you hear about the beach? They said the beach was like deserted. Nobody was on that beach. They said if you saw that beach, when you think of a beach, you think of sunny weather, family out there with tents. You think of volleyball. You think of a lot of people out there. When I tell you that beach, it looks scary. It looked like it belonged in a horror movie. It was like nobody out there. I mean, just the energy was so dark and sad, But that's where they were. It felt like it was like a certain type of area or beach where you would go to take someone out. Like that's what it felt like, just by looking at the video footages, and the video footages are out there. Yeah, but they're saying that her friend, I've also heard tell this, I cannot confirm it, that had the surfboard, was swimming with Tanisha friend, and he um, took that surfboard. I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but he hit him in the head with the surfboard. I don't know if that's true or not. This is some things that I'm hearing that I'm bringing to you all. And I just have to say, thank you, Nikki. Nikki blessed us with a super sticker. I appreciate that, Nikki. I appreciate that $5. I really do. That warms my heart just to know that, what I'm doing here, you guys are supporting me. It really, I appreciate that because I don't have much support. So I thank every one of you all that support me and support the message and want to push out the awareness of what's going on. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at some people in the comment section because I was just talking. So I'm gonna look at some people in the comment section. I'm gonna go back to my talking, but it says, Lisa, how you doing, Lisa? Lisa says, why is Gigi using someone else to do this video? Well, it's all about putting out the message, So it doesn't matter who comes up here, Lisa. We all have the same goal, is to bring awareness of what the elite is doing. So many people are sheep. So many people are blinded by what's going on. All right. So I hope that you join me, Lisa. I really do. Okay. Uh-huh. All right, so I'm looking in the comment section. It says, no way he took his daughter to that beach. It's not even a family beach. And that's what I want the audience to know. And thank you, Waffle and Biscuits. And just to let you know, I love biscuits. I do. But I love waffles more. I love waffles and I love pancakes. Um, I like to go to the International House of Pancakes, and I enjoy going to McDonald's pancakes. I know a lot of you guys frown up on McDonald's, but I'm a McDonald's eater. I grew up on McDonald's, so I love my golden arches. Yeah, but the beach. A lot of you all have not even taken the time to research that beach or go to that beach or see how it looks, because most people have an idea a beach is going to be sunny, it's going to be colorful, kids running around, you got volleyball teams going on, and there's so many people. No, this beach, it gave Freddy Krueger and Jason. It gives nobody there. It gives like a bunch of just darkness. It was just like a place where you want to get it on and you don't want anybody to know. It was like a place where you want to take somebody out and you don't want nobody to know. It's like a place where you want to go and you don't want nobody to know that you're there, And I'm assuming, trying to be positive here, maybe, he went there because he's a celebrity and he didn't want to be seen. So to me, that would make sense to go to a place like that because that beach was it was sad, it was dark, it seemed lonely, it seemed, you know, and maybe he went there for privacy, because the wife on social media, she's very private. So, I mean, that's the only thing that I can think that can make sense. So thank you, Jessica. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right. I'm a new subscriber. Love you too. Thank you. Um, Betty said Diddy is also a distraction for other issues that are trying to be forgotten. It won't be forgotten no matter what happened to Diddy. God sees all and knows all. No one can hide. Well, Betty, you're absolutely right. And I wanted to touch on Diddy as well because the topic is about Malcolm and Diddy. And I know I'm going to be going back and forth with Malcolm and Diddy. Please forgive me. But Betty touched on something I really want people to understand. The article came out today and it read Diddy companies dropped. So when people saw Diddy companies drop, they said, oh my goodness, Diddy is winning. He is losing. He's not winning. Okay. And the reason why I say that, because Diddy is still going to be touched. The elite, they always going to protect the corporations and the companies. The companies, corporations, same deal. The companies and the corporations, that is the money grab, okay? That is the house they use to get all this money. So they're going to continue to use these corporations and these businesses that Diddy have. They're going to take them from Diddy, but it's not going to get hit. They're doing it to save the corporations. That's why Don dropped those names, not for Diddy's sake, but because of the company's sake. Get me? So she's still coming after Diddy. And the elites, they are moving all of their assets away from Diddy so the sharks can come in and just feast on Diddy. Okay. Say, for instance, if you have a house, we call it the house of Diddy or the bank of Diddy, right? Let's use this bank, a bank of Diddy. And it says here, okay, we can't come after the bank. So the corporation's going to have the bank. So, all right. But the elites and the corporations are saying, Diddy, get the hell outside, get out of the bank. Yes, your name is on the wall, Diddy, but we want you to get out of the bank, Diddy. Okay. They're kicking him out of his own corporations and his own companies, and they're planning to take over when the sharks come. So they're putting him outside. They're still allowing Don to come after him, and definitely they're going to come after him as well. So, Diddy right now, the elite, they want all eyes on him. They want him to be used as a distraction. He will be the fall guy. They do this pattern all the time with R. Kelly and the record label. And the record labels with R. Kelly, they knew everything what was going on with him. These individuals, these companies, they all know. They all know. Okay. Please don't think that people were around R. Kelly and they didn't know. That people was around Harvey Weinstein and none of them knew what was going on. People was around Diddy and they all know. Okay. It's just when you have whistleblowers that blew the whistle and pushed it and got the feds involved, I mean, that's a whole different story. So yeah, Diddy is still going down. It's still horror for him. So, but people, they look at it and they're like, oh my God, Diddy companies are getting dropped. It's just weakening the case and they're just so excited. But they're going to get their feelings hurt when the day comes, because the day is going to come. We all knew it. The writing is on the wall. Unfortunately, they just can't see it for whatever reason. All right. I'm gonna look here in the comment section. Hey, C. Allen, how you doing, baby? Um, Epstein files start tomorrow. Just FYI, they will be private, of course. Wow. Okay. Waffle biscuits. It would be great if you can come up here and hit that link and tell us more about it. We would really appreciate that. Okay. All right. I thank you so much. All right. So I wanted to go back here. And I'm seeing some other comments here. Did you guys want to have a side talk or something? You guys, I see you in the comment section. You're talking about my look, baby. What's wrong with it? All right. In life, it's always something, right? Somebody's always going to have a complaint. They're not going to dislike something, but I just have to just give it to God. 1 minute it was, oh my God, you have gloves on. You take the gloves off, right? No gloves. And now it's a whole different story. It's a whole different issue. Like certain people would never be happy, and you just have to pray for them and just continue on with your day, because God has a path for each and every one of us. And that can be a distraction as well. People try to come into your ear, try to bring the past or to try to do whatever they can to distract you from the message that you are sent here to do. You know, I peep your game, baby. I peep your game. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Nikki, she said big corporations have always ran in Hollywood and they are willing to do whatever it takes to keep their secrets. You're absolutely right, including getting rid of people. Yes, they definitely does. They have this mob style mentality. They definitely do. It's a lot of bodies that are buried, just like any gangster organization, the government. I mean, all of them. And it's just so crazy, that the sheep, the people, they see these individuals, they see them giving off to charity, and they're like, oh my goodness, they would never do it because they give to the homeless. They would never do that because they give to Turkey. And they worship these celebrities and they worship these corporations and not even knowing the type of monster they're worshiping. So everybody clearly don't want to be aware of really what's going on. So that's very unfortunate. But we have to continue to fight, because when we stay silent, that is when they win. Okay. And we refuse to allow them to win. We refuse to just lay back and just allow them to win. So, yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. I really do. It means a lot. Okay. All right. So I want to go here dealing with Malcolm. Malcolm was still clean, cut, um, Bill Cosby, kid image, no scandals, respected, intelligent, and a family man. And I think that got a lot of people like feeling some type of way. It's like he's not a bad guy. He's not known to be a gangster. He don't have a lot of baby mama drama. He's not out here um, doing a lot of fornication. He's not pushing this whole culture. He is a stand-up guy. So how is it? Why are they always attacking the good ones? A friend of mine was telling me, and I didn't want to believe it. They said you have to be on guard because people are coming for the good people, and it's just sad. But it seems like that's what's going on. It says, I'm reading some of my notes. So if you see me looking down, you guys know that I'm reading. He had ties to Cosby Old Circle. That makes me swallow. That makes me afraid. Why does it make me afraid that Malcolm had ties to Bill Cosby old circle? Do you guys remember that Bill Cosby's son, his own biological son, was killed? Do you guys remember that? And we never know exactly who it was or why. It was so random. But I don't feel like it was random. I honestly feel like it was targeted. I feel like it was targeted. Um, and I also feel that people that come after Bill Cosby is his circle. People that came after Bill Cosby and destroyed his legacy, they were not strangers. These people knew him in the industry. I'm sure they were probably friends at one point, because oftentimes the people that destroy you is very personal. They're your friends. They used to be your friends or your family members. It's very rare that these individuals that have a personal vendetta against you are strangers. Most likely, it's people in their circle. And people are saying that Bill Cosby, he wanted to do so much. If you guys know Bill Cosby, he is a man of excellence. He always wanted to push great Black representation. When we're talking about the Bill Cosby family, I mean, that family, it just gave Black people hope that, we can live like that too. And then the college and the stories that he had in there, and the awareness and the talent that Bill Cosby brought to Black homes and our Black bedrooms and Black living rooms. I appreciate that. It gave so many of us hope and inspiration, and we learned so much. Unfortunately, we don't have any directors like that now that I can think of, but just to, that is all gone. I can say, do you feel like people didn't like that? They didn't like what he was doing and how much money he was doing. I'm sure jealousy is everywhere. However, that does not take away the nefarious things that Bill Cosby was alleged to do. I don't want you guys to think that, I'm trying to take that away from him. I'm not. Those things that allegedly Bill Cosby did to those women, that is nefarious, that is horrible. And I don't condone that, of course. So Malcolm has old ties with Bill Cosby friends and old ties with Bill Cosby, old circle. I'm reading here, it says Temple University, the doctor, okay, mentioned some things. If he knows too much, that made him a liability. All right. So I'm sure, do you guys think that Malcolm knew a lot, especially back in back Hollywood? Press one if you feel like Malcolm knew a lot, you know? All right, press two if you feel like you probably didn't know much. I think you knew a lot. And anybody that get on podcasts, that is scary. That is so freaky, especially if you have done some stuff and you fear that that person that coming out with this podcast, they're going to use stories they know about you to sell their podcast, to sell their truth. You know who else I'm reminded of about podcasts, and I just think of horror story, is Jada. You guys know Jada Pinkett, a Will Smith wife, right? Her. When she did the podcast, at first I thought it was going to be so nice. You see Jada, she's so open, but honey, I would prefer her not to do any red table talks, It just overshared. I mean, she was a horror story for her own husband, for her kids, the stuff that she shared. And oftentimes when people create these podcasts, they're going to overshare. They're going to talk, they're going to expose. And I'm sure those old Hollywood individuals in the upper elite, they were fearful what Malcolm was going to say. And maybe Malcolm knew who was behind Bill Cosby demise. Can you imagine that? If he knew who was behind Bill Cosby demise, and he has some dirt on the clear elite man that was behind Bill Cosby demise, and he was planning to one day, when he got his podcast up and running, to expose that person, because podcast, that is power, that is influence. When you look at Case or Not, he's a young guy, but he can pack out New York the middle of Manhattan. He can pack it out like this by one tweet. I mean, that is power. That's influence. So we know people with these podcasts, they have a lot of power, a lot of influence, and Malcolm was going to have just that. And having a man that have a lot of power and influence that is for righteous, that is for truth telling, that is for his people. Don't you think that would be frightening for a lot of people? Don't you think a lot of people will be like, no, we want him out? All these years, Malcolm have never did no podcast. He was not opening his mouth. He didn't want to speak truth to power. But recent, now he want to do all this. And that's why they have insurance. And who is the insurance? The insurance is the individuals that they plant in your life, the sleeper cell that they plant in your life. And I'm assuming when they plant these sleeper cells in your orbit, when it comes to your husband, wife, or whatever, they pray and hope. And I'm sure they keep tabs like, don't fall in love with X, Y, and Z. Don't fall in love with Malcolm to the point where you betray Hollywood, because could that be a possibility? Could Tanisha ever fell in love with Malcolm and say, Malcolm, I got something to tell you. I'm really a plant, but I have grown to love you. You see it all the time. They tell you about it all the time in the movies. These movies are coming from real places. They come a lot of times from Hollywood experiences of their own. So if, you know, but it seemed like Tanisha, she didn't have that issue. Tanisha, Malcolm's wife, she has yet to come out here to do a tribute, to say anything to his fan base or whatever. Mind you, these are the people that Malcolm loved. Malcolm saw his people, Malcolm saw his community as his own kids, people that he loved, he cherished, he adored, people that he wanted to speak to, people that he wanted to protect. So I would think a wife duty is, he will want her to come out here and to speak to his people and to say, hey, I know you guys are worried. You guys are concerned. We are in this together. I mean, it's just as simple as that. But she couldn't even do that. And it begs the question, like, why? But if she's a plant and she's a sleeper cell, she has to do her job. All right. So I see somebody came up here, scared me for a second. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So we have someone up here. So let's add a guest in here, you guys. All right. You guys are ready? Hello. How's it going, gaming boy? How are you? Okay. Wow. Did you guys hear that? If that didn't sound demonic, I don't know what it sound like. Did you guys see that? I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I think you guys all should pray. Did you guys hear that? We are under attack. Make no mistake about it. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? We're speaking on something so serious. And you have this individual that come up, took the time out their day to push a spell. I mean, what I just heard, it sounds like a spell from hell, so I had to really just close it out because I rebuke that type of energy, and it's just crazy and frightening. And I have to be as careful as well because I'm sure the elite doesn't want me to speak about this. Okay. Did they say the N word? I have no idea. I didn't pay attention. I just blocked it out. I rebuked it. And I should have known something because when I'm up here talking and I felt an energy, certain individuals, you feel like this energy. But I said, I'm not going to fear it. I'm going to click it anyway because I don't fear anybody but God. So as long as I have God on my side, who am I to fear? So I clicked on there, knowing it's a possibility that darkness would be on the other side. And what was it? It was darkness. So, hey, Jerome, you know me, Jerome. Stop playing. Okay. Whose side are you on, Jerome? Okay. Yes. So back to my commentary before I was rudely interrupted. I'm so sorry that you guys have to see that or witness that, you guys. It was horrible. But I will ask you right now, please like the video. Let's get the likes up. Okay. I'm looking in the comment section and I want to, talk to y'all. It said, Gigi, what are you saying about the people being planted in your life are the ones will set you up? Definitely. The people that are planted in your life, they are there to set you up, V. They are there to activate when the higher ups feel like you might do something irrational, you might do something to cause too much attention or to cause a downfall, then they will activate. They will activate. It's as if this, say, for instance, if I was a person of elite, okay, and UV, okay, it was some stuff that you knew that I have to worry about you, speaking too much or something that you saw. So I'm going to most likely it's like several type of ways I'm going to try to get inside of your orbit. Either have someone to introduce you to a guy because I know that you want to be in a relationship and make this person, come off as your fantasy guy. He wants a family, he wants kids, and they will go as far as mating. Yeah, sleeper cells, they do mate, they go all the way, they go to the marriage, they go producing kids with you. Okay. And when it's time, when the elite feel like it's time for you to go or whatever, then they activate because these plants and sleeper cells, they are on a mission. They are on an assignment. They are on an assignment, okay? Just like the dark side and his goons, they are on an assignment. And the dark side, they do the same thing. You know, they know your fantasy, they know your weakness. They introduce certain people in your life, and next thing you know, a couple of months later, your life is all falling apart, and you don't understand why. Because the dark side have planted plants in your life to destroy your spirit, to break your spirit. It's the same pattern, the same play, you know? So okay. All right. So yeah. So I thank you guys so much. And certain individuals, you know what? I have to stop myself from responding because I see some comments and it's like, okay, talk, respond to it. But you know what? Everything does not need a reaction. No. Mm-mm. Some things you just have to let God just deal with on his time because, I don't have to fight the battle. I just give it to God, you know? Amen. Just give the battle to God. Just let him worry about it. He's gonna fix it. The game is already rigged anyway, you know? So that helps me from not commenting, you know, just to know that. That helps me. All right, so let's continue on. He represented, we're talking about Malcolm. He represented a type of man Hollywood doesn't want. A strong black father, no mess, no dirt. They couldn't control his image. And you may say, well, why don't Hollywood want that? Wouldn't Hollywood want someone that is a strong black father? Don't Hollywood want a person with no mess, no dirt? Well, you tell me. Look at the men in Hollywood. Look at the men in the rap industry. Do they represent a excellent, strong black father? Do they represent a man with morals and values and a person with no mess and a person with no dirt? No, because those individuals cannot be controlled. But the people that have addictions to, freaky stuff and addictions to drugs and just messed up in the head and easily can be manipulated and drugged out and just have all these weakness and dark closet, they can use that to control them by saying, hey, you don't want this out about you. You better get in line. You don't want this out about you. You better do X, Y, and Z. oh, you want that? We can supply that, you know. So that's where it comes. It reminds me of Diddy. You know, Diddy, they said he had cameras everywhere because he was working with the elites. And they are saying, like, once you work with the elites and your name become dirty, the elites will sacrifice their own, especially ones like Diddy. You know, they will sacrifice. I'm sure they're looking for younger Diddies to replace him because Diddy is getting of age, you know? So they will sacrifice to protect the the empire, because it's all about protecting the empire. It's all about protecting the structure. Diddy is nothing but a foot soldier, you know? So if Diddy has to go down, the machine still is up. So what are they going to do? They're going to make another Diddy. They're going to create another Diddy. They're going to create another Harvey Weinstein. They're going to create another R. Kelly. They're going to protect these guys. And the it would just keep going on and on, you know? So that's why it's so important to break the machine, you know, to end this. But it's a hard fight. And it's looking every day, it's looking like it become more of a challenge, you know? But going back here, you know, they couldn't control him. They didn't have anything to dangle over his head and say, hey, I got this on you. You don't want this one out, buddy. They didn't have any of that. So they don't like guys like that. All right, so KFC is here. This is an old friend of the show, this channel, The Messy Sweet Spot. KFC, if you want to come up here and say your piece, I remember you're saying that you don't believe in certain things, but I challenge you to come up here and to speak your mind, KFC. You know, just don't comment in the comment section. The link is at the top, and I say it for anyone, you know. And it's interesting that the dark side, they utilized the link, right? He came up here and he played his demonic energy, trying to shift the atmosphere, trying to distract us from the message. And that's what they do nothing but distract you from the message, and that speaks volumes. It really does. Oh my goodness. So let's get these likes up. I appreciate you guys getting the likes up. I really do. All right. So who targeted him? You know, who targeted Malcolm? The elites who don't want truth tellers near Mike. They don't. They don't want truth tellers. Could you imagine? Think about the mob. You guys know the mob reputation. People that's been a part of the mob, and say, for instance, they have witnessed a lot of things the mob have done, and now they're next to a microphone. Do you think the mob is going to allow that person to get on the podcast or to tell a podcast about their life and their truth when it's connected to the mob? Press one if you think the mob is just going to sit back and say, well, let them have their truth, you know, say what you want to say. No, the mob, you can't even allow that rumor to get far because you're not going anywhere that morning or that night. That mob hear rumor that you're going on a podcast or you have dreams of doing a podcast to tell your truth. You're going to die the night. You're going to die that night. They don't play that. No, the streets don't play that. And I know a lot of times recently, we have seen a shift when it comes to street, because a lot of street guys in the Black community, they are gossiping, they are speaking out. A lot of them are pushing lies. You don't know the truth from the lie when it comes to the street guys that gossip in the gossip sector. But back in the day, you know, they had a real street code about not gossiping and not going on a social media. But now it's a whole different culture when it comes to that type of arena. But I don't think when it comes to Hollywood and you know, mob style guys, they are not going to risk it. Look at what happened to Harvey. Look what happened to Diddy. Do you really think the people at the top, the elites, want to go through that? Because they know now nobody is too big to get it. Everybody in the elite, each one of y'all can get it, and they know it. And that makes them fearful because back in the Hollywood days, they never had to worry about this. They never had to worry about social media or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or these podcast shows because they did not exist. The only time you can get an interview is what? Through corporation magazine, through corporation. Other than that, possibly a rumor. And if you heard a rumor, it's possible you can get taken out of the rumor and nobody would know because they will put up an accident. Ain't nobody gonna question. But now social media has made us closer together. You know, once something gets out, it travels fast. So the game has changed for old Hollywood. So they're not going to chance it with Malcolm. Malcolm, okay, we just going to sit here and we just going to allow him just to expose the truth. No, they're not going to take that chance. Not going to happen. All right. So possibly people are saying insurance power plays tied to the networks and old Hollywood connections. The industry machine that pushes anyone to clean, they either dirty you up or erase you. All right. So people are saying if you come in the industry and you're clean, say for instance, if you're a young Usher, if you're a young Justin Bieber, what did they do to Justin Bieber? They got him on so much drugs. They got him doing so many things with men and women. Yeah. Yes, yes, yeah. They will destroy you inside out mentally. Okay. Same with Usher. You have to be a certain type of mental person to go around purposely passing the bumps and not on your medication. Okay. So, it really messes people up mentally. And they start when you're a kid. Yeah. Yes, they do. So if you are clean, and I do believe that Justin Bieber and Usher, they were the good boys. I do believe when they were a kid, they were good boys. But Diddy made sure that, hey, he dirtied up Usher, he dirtied up Justin to control them. Yeah. Yeah. That's the name of the game. It's just like gangsters or gangbangers. Oftentimes, to be initiated in the gang, you have to do a crime as well. They want assurance that you're not going to go out here and snitch because if you do, then you're going to be snitching on yourself. They want you to do nefarious things to get in this gang. Sometimes you have to essay someone, sometimes you have to assault someone to participate or to be initiated in. I mean, it's a lot of nefarious things. And some people will say, I don't want to speak on the sorority, but I have heard some tales about them as well. But I really don't want to speak on them because I don't know too much. But the thing is real, you all. It's really real. And if you guys are just coming in here, I just want to say I thank you and I appreciate you guys for coming and join us on the show. I ask you guys to please make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe here. All right. And if you guys enjoy me doing live streams, please press 5. Let me know. I really appreciate it. Okay. And like I said, if you guys want to come up here, feel free to hit that link and speak. Nikki, what else did you have to say? Nikki said Angie Stone knew a lot of secrets too. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And I feel like they took her out as well. Yes, Nikki, I share that same feeling. If you guys did not know, the headlines read Angie Stone died in an accident. 9 people were in the Mercedes van. 1 person died, 8 people survived. Isn't that odd? We are all in the same car and only one person died and everyone else survived. And that one person was the only person in that van that the elite wanted to die, that the elite did wrong, that the elite owed. They owed her so much money. They did her so wrong. And she said before she left, months before she left, and you can look this up, I promise you, she got on this video and she said, I know your names. She said, I know your names. I'm going to expose each and every one of you, and I'm coming after you. And she knew in her spirit that once she said that, the war was on. It was just like a ticking time bomb, you know? But I don't think that she knew that they were going to kill her on her son's birthday. How sinister is that? How sinister, how nefarious is to say, hey, I'm going to take you out on your son's birthday. If that's not drawing a message, I don't know what is, you know? So yeah, and people still don't know who's behind it. And the person that's behind Angie Stone has still yet to face justice. And oftentimes, these individuals that are taking people out, they do not get their justice, you know, and it's sad. It really is. I'm reminded when Tyler Perry came out at the funeral. Do you guys remember Tyler Perry came out the funeral? Angie Stone. And what did he say? He said that he is going to get Angie Stone money back. He said he was going to revenge Angie Stone. He was going to be a soldier for Angie Stone. You know what? It's August. It's August. It's August. And what has Tyler Perry done? Was that all just talking fluff? You know? So you just can't. I mean, these people, they're all the same. They just talk. Yeah, they just talking. Uh-huh. Mm-mm-mm. Whew, I tell you. It's you just want to let you know that your show and content come a long way. You are doing a fantastic job. You rock, Miss Gigi. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Shell. I really do. Thank you so much. So I'm looking here in the comment section, I'm reading. So yes, so damn much to question. My girl Angie the Stone. Yes, the devil took her life, Gigi. Yeah, she had so much, Stephanie. Stephanie, she was gonna do a documentary. Stephanie, she was gonna do what? She was gonna tell her truth. Press two if you knew that Angie Stone was gonna tell her truth. Malcolm Warner was going to tell his truth on this podcast. You know, they all was in the works of exposing the elite. They all was fed up. They all was quiet and silent for a while. Angie Stone, she said she's been fighting with this behind the scenes for so long. And this was a time when she got fed up. Same with JAMAL, he's been quiet for so long. And I think a lot of people were inspired by Diddy. Do you guys realize the awakeness? Like last year when Cassie came for Diddy, like it woke a lot of people up, you guys. So much that Tyler Perry even has someone on his heels, Christian Keys. You know, he came out and he said, you know, seeing Cassie sue Diddy and exposing Diddy, it inspired him to tell the truth. But people are saying he got paid off. So, you know, people are going to do what they want to do, and people got to do what's best for them, you know? So it's crazy out here. So it's like, who's next? Or are they going to definitely shut the lid where nobody is going to expose anybody? I don't know, but I definitely know that it's really dangerous out here in these streets. It really is. Okay. Whew, my goodness. Waffle said Drake ain't safe the way he is moving. I've been a fan, but I pray for him. Waffle, you have to come up here and tell us, Waffle, you know so much. I would love for you to come up here one day and just tell it because, I lack when it comes to Drake. I don't know too much about Drake. I see some things with Drake. I question Drake, you know, it's a lot of stuff with Drake, him and Kendrick, him messing with little girls. I mean, it's a lot of things with Drake. Drake being with so many different women, but he don't want to be with the woman. He has this image like he's a lover boy, but he can never actually be successful in a love relationship. I don't understand that mindset, Waffle. I'm a lover boy, okay? But I've never had a successful relationship in love. So yeah. But, that's just the culture, I guess. It's just to say one thing and actually do something else. It's just like a lot of these people on social media, they are like, I can counsel you to be in a perfect relationship. And I know what women like, I know what like men like, but yet they're not in a relationship. Like, but I guess it's like a coach because you can have okay. So do you guys know this girl? I forgot her name, but she's like Caucasian and she's like heavy set, and she teaches like little girls how to dance. You guys know who she is. I just forgot her name, but I guess it's one of those things. She can teach people how to dance, but when you look at her, it's like, girl, can you do this splits? Can you dance? It's like, no, but she's a good at teaching. She's good at coaching. And I guess some people they can coach, but you know, things just not work out for them. So I get that. All right. So we have someone else up here. How you doing? Is this real not perfect? KFC? KFC,
Yeah,
can,
what's up?
how you doing? Your background, I can hear a little echo.
Okay,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think it's better. How you doing?
I've been doing fine. You been doing?
I've been doing good. It's a blessing to hear your voice.
Yep, long time no hear.
Yeah. All right. So let's get with do you want to start with Malcolm or Diddy?
Okay, I'm gonna start with Malcolm first. The last time that I was able to talk to you, we spoke about remember the Illuminati, all right? And that was the conversation that was centered around Angie Stone. Okay, back to my credit, Hulk Hogan, we lost Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne. No one is not saying anything about the Illuminati. So I'm still stuck on this thing why people think the Illuminati is only obsessed with black people. I'll come back to that. But moving on to Malcolm Jamal Warner, honestly, in my opinion, you're my homie, but I disagree with everything you're saying about him. I just think it was an accident. It really was. Where he went to, Costa Rica, they are known to have drownings, especially at the location where he was at. It's very common in that country. The rip currents in that country is off the chain. I don't know why that was necessarily a good destination for a vacation spot because they say that when he got there, the day that this unfortunate situation happened, he was playing with his daughter because they just got done with the surfing lesson. He was playing with his daughter. He left her on the beach and then he went back out in the water with a friend. But the thing with the rip currents is like the rip currents is what brings the water up on the beach. And then it pulls that water back out to the ocean. And if you're in the middle of it, you get pulled back into the ocean with it as well. So once you get stuck in it, you have to know how to swim out of it. And you have to swim out of it either going to the left or the right. But most people do not. They stay in it. And when they stay in it, they get stuck because they start fighting the water, and then they end up drowning because they fatigue and they cannot keep up with it because it's like a strong current. So I think with Malcolm, it was just an unfortunate situation that happened to him.
But can I say
I,
something, KFC?
yeah,
Couldn't it
yeah.
be possible that it was a setup? Because, like you said, why would he go out there? Mind you, KFC, he never wanted to go. She's been out there. His wife, Tanisha, she was out there for 10
But
days.
his wife wasn't on the beach with him when it happened. So who told him to go out there?
Well, hold on, because the chief of police says that she was there, and then you hear articles say that the FBI over there said something different. So I'm not sure, but I just want to paint this picture, right? Say, for
Okay.
instance, Malcolm, he was there in the morning, and they did the whatever lessons they were going to do, and he was ready to leave. Could it be that Tanisha friend was like, "Come on, guy, let's hit this rip"? And Malcolm like, "No." And he was like, "Are you scared? We do this all the time. We're real men. Let's just do it. Come on." And just trying to sucker him in there. And Malcolm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, and this guy does something nefarious where it causes him to meet his demise. And
Okay, but how would he be able to do that? How would the friend be able to do that allegedly and not get caught up with the rip current as well?
Well, they say he did get caught up in the rip current, and I'm sure it's a possibility you can. Allegedly, they said that he went to a hospital, that he passed so many clinics. People felt that was awkward. Like, if he was like really not well, why won't you just go to the first clinic to get him first aid? But they say they took him way to a different hospital, and they're saying the hospital was so far away from this. And mind you, they planned it the day that no lifeguards were there on that beach. And that is just a very sketchy beach. That part right there, they made sure no lifeguards were there. Lifeguards have came out and said, "We apologize, been there." This was the only time where we decided not to patrol that area.
But they
Isn't
said
that
other people were up on the beach though. It
they
might
said
have been a lifeguard, but it was other people's on the beach.
they said it was a few people on the beach. But if
Okay,
it
but see, this is my thing though with Malcolm. That
why
was your choice though. That
take
was your choice though.
Okay, but even if it was his choice, they lured him into the lion's den. It's still a setup.
But see, the thing with the rip current, you don't know how far he went away from the beach before the rip current got him. Because the current pulls you further into the ocean. So, he might not even have gone out that far. You know what I'm saying? Got caught up in the middle of it. That's
Possibly.
happened to people before. But just because you know how to swim doesn't mean you're not going to drown. Because Rodney King knew how to swim and he drowned in the swimming pool and lost his life. And plus, with the rip currents, 21 people drown a year off the beaches in Australia alone because of them. I mean, we just had
Does
over here.
everybody believe that Rodney King story?
No, some people say it was a setup as well, but I'm just saying
Do
you
you
can be a swimmer and still drown.
The elite, they always plan stuff with the drowning? Whitney Houston, her daughter drowned in the tub. Are you kidding me? You
Okay,
don't
but with Whitney Houston, I can give you my opinion about what I think happened to Whitney Houston,
you don't see the
but I don't think it's really a pattern. I just think that, with the Costa Rica, that particular location, even if you take the rip current out of it, the reptile life there is terrible. Like the location where he was at, there's over like 200 different type of species of reptiles there. There's snakes, there's lizards, there's turtles, there's crocodiles. They have something called the American crocodile, and they come up on the beach. So I don't know, when he was in the water, if he saw something, he panicked and got caught up in the rip current. Like there,
who
I
would
wouldn't know.
who would know? Why take him to that type of dangerous beach, knowing that
But why
Mount?
did he agree to go over there on vacation right at that particular
You
location?
know why? Because he trusted the sleeper cell. He trusted the plant, which is his wife. That's why. He trusted, but he didn't know. Malcolm was so busy planning his podcast. He also had rumors that the elites was coming after him because he was going to do some storytelling about old Hollywood, and he rejected them because they wanted him to work for them, and he rejected them, and they felt some type of way. So,
But do you know how old he was? He was like 54 years old. So
yeah,
why wait this long to do that to him?
because he was going to expose them on his podcast. He was waking his people up. He was speaking truth to power. And they may see him, he's another Bill Cosby. Bill
Okay, but
Cosby.
let me ask you a question though. How much waking up did they have to really, Gigi, did they have to really give us? You're talking about over 400 years of oppression. We all pretty much awoke when it comes to that. So what can the Illuminati really broad beat across our head?
Oh my God. KFC, a lot of us are asleep. A lot of us are sheep. A lot of us are not awake. We not awake. If we were, do you really think that our culture would be in the place that it's in now? No way. We don't know our history. We don't know. No way. Come on now.
But who's the ruler of the system though? See, that's the thing. Who's the ruler of the system?
The machine.
So, nah, come on now. You know Satan runs the system. So the way things are set up is the way things are set up. So it's going to be destroyed. That's just my opinion on it. But with Malcolm, like the location where he was at, they were saying that those crocodiles, you should avoid swimming or being near bodies of water, including beaches, especially during dusk and dawn. There's a whole lot with that. So, like I said again, I don't know what happened to him. I'm gonna be honest because I was not there, but I know with the rip current, people drown all the time with those. There was just a football player, I think, in Florida. Some people got caught up in one and he ended up drowning trying to save them. He was able to save them, but he ended up losing his life. It happens. I mean, water is deadly.
That is the perfect setup. That's the perfect background. That is the perfect excuse to say, hey, he died from the rip. That's perfect. And that's exactly what the elite wants you to think. And you're falling right into their trap. You
No,
are.
I'm not falling into it. I'm not falling into their trap
That's what
because,
they want
okay,
you.
well, let me ask you a question. Why do you think the elite is so stuck on black people? I'm being serious. Can you just tell me why?
Listen, I've never said that the elite was stuck on African Americans, but black people are very powerful. When you look at the history, when you look so many things, and I want to go into it, but I don't want to go into it.
See, I know I had to be choppy with you on this one because you don't like to say certain things and talk about certain stuff. But before the generation we're living in now, when we were enslaved, what do you think the elites wanted from us then? Cotton? Like I'm trying to understand what we supposed to cotton? Like I don't, with me, I don't feed into that. I just think that, unforeseen occurrences happen to people. Things are going to happen. Like your life is not promised. What happened to Malcolm can happen to any of us. You hear stories about people going to amusement parks and they fall out of the roller coaster. I'm thinking that when they got on the roller coaster, they didn't think that was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing about death. You don't know when it's coming, but it's always there. And with Malcolm, like I said again, for him to take surfing lessons, he was already a swimmer. But with those rip currents, especially in Costa Rica, they're unpredictable and they're deadly and they're powerful. And I don't know, you don't know what happens. They come up on the shore. They come up on the beach. How do you think whales and stuff? Sometimes you see whales up on the beach, up on the sand. The rip current brings them up there. That's how powerful a rip current can be. So I don't know if he underestimated it. There were signs posted that said no swimming. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he went out there.
That is reason why people are saying that doesn't sound like Malcolm. That's why people are saying
But why would his wife have to take him all the way out there to do that?
he was dead before he got in the water. That is what certain people are whispering because they know Malcolm, and that is not
So
Malcolm.
who carried him over there and threw him in there?
Um, Allegedly, Tanisha friends. She had friends over there.
So he was already unalive and they just rolled him up and pushed him on down there.
I cannot tell you for sure. I'm just saying those are the whispers.
And nobody didn't see that?
Well, it
Didn't
was.
you just say in the beginning there was other people on the beach? Nobody didn't see nobody rolled up in no rug or nothing being pushed down there like that.
I've
Not
never.
moving, not doing anything.
I've never said it was a rug, and it was a few
No, I'm
people.
just giving you an example. Okay, so if it wasn't a rug,
Okay,
what was it, a
but
trash bag?
I can give you an example. Okay, it's early in the morning. Somebody can put something in them, drug them up. Who knows? And we walking inside of the water. You're not gonna think nothing of it. If I have
But
my
remember his daughter was with him. His
hand,
daughter was with him.
but do we know that for sure?
But when
Allegedly.
Okay, but
Story
okay.
said his daughter was there, and the next one said she wasn't there. One story said he died saving her, and then the next story, the FBI said it doesn't. And that should even ring alarms. Why the FBI and the police, why they don't have the same story? It's not even close. That doesn't ring red alarms to you?
Well, no, because the first story, they was mentioning that he was playing with his daughter at the seashore, and then he left her after he got out of the water. He left her out of the water, and then a friend and himself went back in the water. And as soon as he went in the water, the rip current swept him away. But they were saying the beach water was already rough, and they were advising people not to get in the water. So I don't know if that played a role into it.
Malcolm
I don't know.
that Malcolm is a safe guy. He's not going to just get in that dangerous water and bring his daughter there.
But things happen to people, Gigi. You know what I'm saying? Like
He
they have
was,
sharks over there too. You don't know if something came up and he panicked and got caught up in the current. You know what I'm saying?
but I also know that he had a lot of stuff on the higher ups, and I also know that they did not want him to expose the old Hollywood secrets. And I also
What secrets though? What
I,
secret?
I also know out of all those people that was on the beach or the small amount, he was the only one that died. I tell you one thing, they definitely execute their plan. They know it's 9 people in that van. They're going to get the one thereafter. Just
But
like
see,
they,
this is the thing. Other people stayed on the beach because maybe they didn't want to go in the water, but Malcolm did. You know what I'm saying? And then if you don't know how to fight to get out of it, you will drown. So like when you get caught in it, you have to swim to the left or the right. You cannot stay in it. And then the man that said he unfortunately lost his life. I mean, asphyxiation by submersion. That means all the oxygen left his lungs and was replaced with the liquid. Because they said they found him at basically almost at the bottom of the ocean. So I just think it was an unfortunate accident that happened to him.
no, it
That I
was
mean, that's just it.
that's what they want you to think. You're doing exactly what the elite want you to do. And I just want to say, Faith says this Malcolm Jamal Warner was speaking out loud and proud. Yes, he was. Uh, Regarding melanated people issues. Maybe he was talking too much. He was talking too much. And he have a lot of dirt on those individuals, the old Hollywood. If this was not an accident, why would they want him gone? Okay. Hey, I'm right with Faith. I'm right with you, Faith. And tell me this, Faith. This is my issue as well. The mother, Pamela, how dare she say that Malcolm died peacefully? That doesn't go against that doesn't align with drowning. And then she states that Malcolm's job is completed. His job is done. No, he was just getting started.
I just believe he made an accident. He made a poor choice of decision because they're saying after he got done with his surf lesson, his daughter himself did a surf lesson. They said he stayed on the beach for a while with her and then decided to get back in the water. I mean, people drown all the time. I don't think that he would go out there and want to do that to himself.
Why do you believe the police so much? You don't even know him. But
I don't believe the police, but I'm just saying like
whatever the news shift out, the higher media, you just gonna swallow it up.
no, because why take him all the way out there and do that when you could
That's
have got him in his house?
that's the perfect setup. They do it all the time. They take people to Mexico, they take people out to the country because they know the FBI, the investigation is not going to be good as America. And then they did it in the salt water. You know how much evidence that salt water have taken out?
Okay, but look, when they do an autopsy on your body, they can determine whether you were alive or unalive if you drowned, if you lost your life by drowning. So if his lungs was filled with water, that means he was alive when he was in the water. He was not dead. He was still breathing. If he had no water in his lungs, then yeah, it would be questionable. But the fact that his lungs were filled with water means he was alive. He drowned. Unfortunately, the rip current took his life because if he had no water in his lungs, he was already deceased when they put him in the water. So they know, but based upon the autopsy, that didn't happen to him. And like I said, the rip currents, they're deadly. I mean, they're not meant to be played with. 21 people drowned in
Hey,
Australia alone on their beaches because of them.
Cassie,
So
is it possible that I can feed you some food or say, come on, drink this drink with me and put something in your drink? And you're kind of dizzy, but it hasn't hit you yet, girl. And I say, come on, let's get in this water, right? And then ripped your ass and took you on out of here. And then the pill started hitting or whatever I gave you, and now you gone. I tried to save Cassie, I really did. But now she's gone. Poor her. It was an accident.
I mean, Gigi, it's one of those things. Just like people drive with their seatbelt on. Some people put their seatbelt on all the time, and some people drive without it on. And then that one day comes when you don't have it on and you get hit. I mean, I think he was already an experienced swimmer. He knew how to swim already. And I just think it was a bad call. The water that day when they showed it, it did not look like. I don't know why he went out there to begin with. I mean, that's just me. I wouldn't have gone, but I don't know where he was at specifically on the beach.
But KFC, you know Malcolm would not leave his 8-year-old daughter on the shore and go out and swim with
But that's what I'm saying. I don't. You got to understand that rip current swept him away. You don't have to be far in the ocean away from your daughter. Your daughter could have been right there, and you could have said, "I'm going to go get this seashell for you," and got boom, the rip current pulled you out. It doesn't necessarily mean he left on them beach and then he went out on a canoe or paddling somewhere far, far away and it happened. Rip currents come up on the sand. Like they come up on the sand. When you see whales and stuff that make it up on the beach, and people want to know, well, how did that whale get way up there and the water's way back down there? A rip current pushed it up there. That's how powerful they are. So I'm saying with him, I don't think he left his daughter on the beach to go leave her alone. But you don't know where that rip current was at and how close it was when he decided he could have just been right there to pick up a seashell for, and the rip current got him. It pulls you out that fast. Like, I mean, they're deadly. And you can go online and look at the way they pull around. Like they're not meant to be played with. And a lot of experienced swimmers have lost their life. So no, I don't think he left his daughter there alone. But you don't have to be far out to get submerged in one either, because it pulls you out back into the ocean along with the water. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if he had any intention on going in the water. I don't know if he had life vests on or whatever. So I don't know. I don't
see
know if he had any experience with dealing with the rip currents or not.
I see a lot of people in the comment section, they disagree with you respectfully.
Good.
And I want you guys to know, I need you that disagree with her. I need you guys up here and to take a stand.
Go
Because
ahead.
oftentimes the other side, they speak up. They're loud and proud. But oftentimes we are the quiet ones. So I challenge you all to come up here, hit that link, and express how you feel. Let the world know your side of it and what you think and what your take, you know? All right. So about Diddy. Tell me your thoughts about Diddy. I definitely feel like Dawn came out and she let the world know she dropped companies. So she's not
Okay.
going after the Diddy companies, but she's still going after him. And
Of
often
course.
people saw that as a win for Diddy. And they don't realize that the elite is going to take Diddy down as well. And they just want to keep the corporation and the companies, the business, but they're also saying take Diddy because they are definitely going to take over those companies.
Well, with Diddy, the problem I have now is that why come all the artists whose careers didn't go nowhere, they coming for Diddy? But all the artists whose careers were pretty much successful, like Total, Mace, and all them, they're not saying anything. Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige, they're not saying anything bad about Diddy. It's the ones who didn't go anywhere. And that's when you have money, you really learn who your true friends are. Like money makes some people like you, it makes some people jealous of you, some people hate you. But like I said, with Don, where did Don's career go? I'm being honest with that. Where did Don's career go? That's what you have to start looking at. Like the people who are talking about Diddy, what are they standing on right now? Nothing. Everybody else, like when he did remixes with Mariah Carey and all that, no, they're not saying anything about him. Why is it the ones who don't have a career and have no money that got all this mouth now? That's what I really question right there. So, like with Don, if you had all this beef with Diddy, when you left Diddy, why come you didn't sign with someone else? Why come your career didn't take off?
I think
Oh,
Diddy
okay.
allowed his property. He see these individuals' properties. These are not even.
Please, Diddy ain't tripping. Diddy was not tripping on them. You don't
Yeah,
get to $850 million because you tripping on somebody. Trust me, you don't. He's not tripping on them.
yeah.
That's not how that went down.
He's very territorial, where it's disgusting.
But how do
He,
we know that though?
I mean, from the examples how he treated Kim Porter, treated Cass.
I don't see that's the thing with Kim Porter. If he treated Kim Porter so bad, why did Kim Porter make Diddy her son's father, use him as her son's father instead of Albie Shore? All right. Why did she have 3 kids with Diddy? Diddy so bad. All right. See, that's the thing too. Like when Kim was alive, she didn't say anything about Diddy. And the person that came out allegedly that had that book, he had to backtrack it down and said those weren't even Kim Porter's words. So it's like, I mean, that's to be expected with people. Like when people feel like you owe them something and they're not getting what they want out of you, then they smear you. That's with everybody. Everybody does that. So that's to be expected with Dawn because Diddy's a hot topic right now. So she wants to get paid. I mean, of course she's going to talk about Diddy, but like all these labels out here, why come no one else didn't pick Dawn up? If she can sing so good, why come Faith Evans ain't saying she saw anything? No parties. Mary J. Blige ain't saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Total ain't saying nothing. You know what I'm
Because
saying? Carl Thompkins ain't saying nothing.
they are a part of the problem. They are
What problem?
they're
What
compromised.
problem?
They are compromised. They are
So they're
compromised.
compromised, but Taylor Swift ain't compromised. See
Now,
what I mean?
how does Taylor Swift fit into this?
But what I'm saying is, why come with Black people when we're successful, it's always they try to take the negativity and replace it instead of the accomplishment. But with everybody else, they get a pass. See, I don't like that either because whether you like Diddy or not, Diddy went from rags to riches. Whether you respect his hustle, his grind, I mean that's on you. But he did. So it's like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time when Diddy was hot. Whether you respect him or not, and there's a lot of jealousy that comes with that. And a lot of people he had around him was jealous of him as well. I
But when
mean, it is what it is.
standing up for your people, Diddy, he also did horrible things to his people. When it
How do we
comes,
know that though?
I mean, Biggie Small, for instance, he was so territorial over him. He wanted to take Biggie out. He was planning to take Tupac out because of jealousy. And Biggie was going to go and he was going to do his own thing, but Biggie said no and took him out.
Mm. Now, see, I don't comment on that because I don't know that.
But
I
you
don't know that. I mean, why would you want to take your number one artist out?
because
That doesn't make any sense.
artist is leaving. Biggie was doing his own thing. He was exiting Bad Boy because Diddy don't do people right. He's a shady individual. Everything that he touched, the people, Craig Mack, I mean, it's so many.
Craig
Sean,
Mack passed unfortunately from heart disease,
come on now.
so that has nothing. Come on now,
You heard the
come
whispers
on.
out here in these streets about what Diddy
So
did
why did the RICO charge get dismissed then? See what I mean? See, everybody wanted to argue me down with the RICO charge. Why did that get dismissed?
because of the machine,
Oh,
and the
please.
it's tied with other
Please,
people. That's why.
please, please. Come on, you know that ain't true. You know that ain't true. You know, it was people wanted Diddy's money. And that's what people do when they want your money. That's it. Bottom line. Because I mean, if they're putting all this stuff on the forefront about him, what about all the other music producers out here then? Why come all these? Now, let me ask you this question. If Diddy's doing all this stuff, we've been hearing for years about Clyde Davis. Why come nobody ain't coming forward about him?
People are
Where his jump balls are at? You know, Clyde Davis was married to a woman and he came out and said he always loved men. And he, I think at 81 years old, he came out the closet, whatever. But I'm saying with him, why come nobody else, no women or nothing saying he made them do anything? They saw anything? Did he have baby oil? Did he walk around the house with nothing on? I mean, nobody's not saying nothing about him, but you've been hearing all these stories about Clyde Davis. So it makes you question with Black people why they always try to smear us and drag us through the media. I'm saying I'm really big on that. That's just me. But with everybody else, you don't hear anything.
Jag has exposed Clyde. She has spoke. She has
And
whispered.
Jag, you know what? The thing about Jag, I don't know her, and I'm, not going to disrespect her or anything like that. But Jag pretty much nobody's been hanging around her since '05. So I'm trying to understand, like, how would you know so much if you don't know these people? You haven't you're not in their circle right now in the present moment. You haven't been socializing with these people since '05. So it's like, how would you know so much? And plus, if you knew so much at that time when you found all of that out, why didn't you act on it then? Why are you waiting 20 years? We're in 2025. You stopped being around all these people in '05. Why are you sitting on information for 20 years when you could have did something about it back in '05? I mean,
What
that's just it.
back in '05? I mean, life was
I
different.
mean, that's when she was out there on the scene, right?
I know, but the lives we didn't have social media like we have it now.
But
This
she
is
still could have went to a lawyer. She still could have reported stuff. She still could have went to the feds.
not
You know,
at
you can't.
the,
Why
the
not? Then why come out with it now? Why are
because
you coming out with it now? When
because
a
people
lot of the statute of limitations have expired. So
we
what relevant? I mean, how's it relevant now for you to talk about stuff that happened 20 years ago when you can't do anything with some of the stuff you know anyway? Because the statute of limitation, the time has expired. So now it's just coming out as being messy gossip. That's it. Messy gossip. That's it. Because you should have acted on that information back in '05. That's it. Like, come on now. Gossip sells. But I mean, what are you going to do about it? That's just it. That's just my opinion. If you don't want to be a part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. Because if you saw all this stuff in your face, '05, and we're in 2025, I mean, hey, I mean, you've been sitting on this stuff for 20 years? Like, that's crazy, man. I mean, that's just me. But like I said, with Clyde Davis, why come all this stuff they're saying about him, how he does all this stuff and you got to kiss the ring with him and all that? Why come nobody ain't saying nothing about him?
people
Were they
are.
scared of him too? He can't even drive right now, but yeah, everybody's scared of him.
I
You
just
understand?
no, you're saying false. I just told you Jack has spoke out about him so many times. It is so many people that have spoke out against Clyde.
So why come no one didn't believe her when she was speaking out?
People did believe her. She has an army of followers.
Yeah. And Elvis Presley's in my kitchen right now making me pancakes. I don't know. You know, with me, if that's what you feel, you know what I'm saying? If that's what you think, that's what you think. I ain't gonna argue with you on that because we all have our own opinion. But like I said, when it comes down to the elites, I don't know what the fascination is with black people. Because I mean, God, where did it come from? I mean, for the 400 years we were down and out, I mean, what did we have to do for them then? I mean, I don't know. Pick more cotton for them? Are they going to chase us? I mean, I don't know. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the music industry, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you have to do.
Heard so many people say that black people are the chosen people. I didn't say that, but you hear that. You know, black people have natural born talent. Are the first people. You know, it's black, the motherland, Africa. I mean, it's so many things. So I'm sure you know that, and
Well,
everybody.
I'm not from Africa. I'm here. I was from here. So I don't sign into the motion that all black people came from Africa. I don't believe that at all. But if you do believe that, then that's on, that's your belief. But I don't look African. So I know I didn't come from Africa. So my people are already over here in America. So that's it with that. But I mean, I don't know, Gigi. I mean, you gotta understand too who runs the world too. You understand? Like, I mean, I'm not making it religious, but I mean, when you understand who runs the world, then like I said again, it doesn't make sense to me if Satan controls the whole, not he doesn't own the earth, but he controls the system. Why black people have to do so much? I mean, I don't know, man. Because when you look at different parts of the world, I mean, they're going through it too. I mean, not just black people, but I mean, look at some of the stuff that goes on, like Israel and all that. I mean, it's stuff that goes on all throughout the world. So why come nobody doesn't talk about the elites, what the elites want them to do over there in Israel? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, I mean, it always comes back to us. And that's
Okay,
why I start to question that.
KFC, people have those conversations. They are podcasts that's going on right now that's talking about all of that. You know it too. So let's not. But KFC, we are going short on time. I just want to say I thank you for coming up here. I
Okay.
appreciate the commentary. All right.
Yeah. No
See you.
problem.
All right. Well, that's KFC, and I'm glad that she came up here to give her thoughts on the matter. I see a lot of people complaining, but you guys have to make a move. You have to speak up too. You know, you have to come up here too. So hopefully next time I can get more of you to come up here and to speak truth to power and to express your side of your view, your opinion. All right, so I'm going to call it a night. I just want to say thank you all for liking, sharing, joining us. Hopefully, we can do this again and again every single day. I love to be here with you all to inform you what's going on and to have these tough conversations with you all. You guys know I do these type of news, and I also do true crime as well. So I love you all, especially the ones that love me. And I see you guys on the next upload, okay? Or live stream.